Hello Year 3 and welcome to your fourth special video just for you on topic. Now we're moving away from science and light and playing with shadows and lights and dark, and we're looking at geography, and we're going to look at the geography of the United States of America. Now when you're looking at this video, it would be really helpful if you had someone sat with you so you can talk through what you see and tell them what you think as we go through it, and maybe record some notes. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking at if we can find out all about the United States, where it is on the map, and something about its human and physical geography. Now, here is a map of the United States. Now, firstly, pause the video in a few seconds and talk to someone about what you already know about the United States of America. Here's a picture of the country with its flag in it. What do you know about America? What do you think of when people say, oh, the United States of America? What do you think about, what do you associate with the United States of America? Pause the video now and talk to the person you're with. Welcome back. I hope that was an interesting discussion. I'm sure you know lots and lots already about the United States. So, can you locate it on a map? Well, I haven't got a map, but what I have got is a globe. Now, you may remember these from our lessons earlier in the year, and if we look round the globe, we can see that that is Europe, and if we keep going round and round and round, that red blob there is the United States, and it is an absolutely huge country. If you have got a map or a globe at home, see if you can find the United States. Now, it doesn't cover the whole of the continent of North America, because you've got a country up here, which is Canada, and a country down here, which is Mexico, but it does cover a vast area in North American continent. So what I want you to do now is pause this video, write down this website address, and watch this short video, which is all about the physical features of the United States of America, all about its mountains, etc. So pause the video, pause this video, look at this video, and then come back to me. Welcome back. So we know that the United States is a huge country. In fact, in size, it is the third largest country in the world. Only Russia and Canada are bigger in terms of physical size. And in fact, in terms of the number of people who live there, or the population, it is also the third largest country in the world. There are more people living in China and more people living in India, but after that, there are more people living in the United States than any other country in the world. And people living in the United States have come from all over the world. So here's some facts about the United States. Its official name is the United States of America, often referred to as the USA. It has a population of 324,057,300. So that is a huge population. If you think that the population of Great Britain is about 70 million, then it is so much bigger than we are. The capital is a place called Washington, DC. The area of the country is 9,826,630 square kilometers. So it is vast. It has major mountain ranges, the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains. There are two really big mountain ranges in the United States, and it has three massively big rivers, the Mississippi, the Missouri, and the Colorado. It does have a lot of other rivers, smaller rivers, but those are the three big ones. In the United States, the main language is English, but it's not quite English as we would speak it. It's kind of American English, but it is a basic English language, and you can usually understand what they're trying to say, even though they do use different words. For example, they would use the word sidewalk instead of pavement, like we would. But the main language they speak is English. But a lot of Americans also speak Spanish, or a lot of Americans do speak Spanish because they've come from countries originally where Spanish was the main language. Now, the money in the United States is the US dollar. So they don't use pounds, they don't use euros, they use something called dollars. The country is actually divided into 50 different areas, and these are called states, hence the name the United States. So they have one central government that looks after things like foreign policy and the army and the things that everyone needs to be involved in. And then each state, each separate area, can make their own rules and laws on things like schools and hospitals, or the environment, or farming, or industry, or sport and recreation, or police, or prisons, or emergency services. So each state has a lot of power, and each place has very different laws about that sort of thing. So you have to be very careful in the United States that you know what the law is in the state you're in, because it could be very different if you travel across the country. And these states all have names like California, Nevada, Texas, or New York, Pennsylvania. There are all kinds of states, South Carolina, all sorts. There's 50 states in the United States, and they are all different. Now, their economy, that means what they make money from. We said it was the largest economy in the world, which means they have more wealth and money than any other country in the world. And they've got their wealth and money mainly through buying and renting land and houses, banking and insurance, looking after people's money, health and social care, that's hospitals and places that look after people. Manufacturing, that's making things. So they make computers and cars and guns and sports equipment and house appliances and aircraft and oil and electricity and cars. They make all sorts of things in America. And then the next biggest thing they make money from is retail, selling them to each other, selling them to us, and selling them to people around the world. And that's made them the biggest country in terms of the wealth in the world. Now, we talked about physical geography, and physical features are things that aren't man-made. So mountains, hills, rivers, valleys, the weather, coasts, forests, grassland, desert, soil, vegetation, ocean and sea. These are what we call physical geography features. Now, anything else is a human feature. So human geographical features are things like buildings, houses, settlements. We talked about settlements last term, you know, what types of settlements, cities and villages. Then there's roads, railways, canals, population, number of people who live there, language, culture, how people live, food, what people eat, the political system, how that's worked out, the economy, how it makes its money. So those are human geographical features. Now, what I want you to do is we're going to compare two places. A place called Atlanta in Georgia in the United States, and that is where Martin Luther King was born and was brought up. And so it fits in very neatly with our English. And we're going to compare it to London in England. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you various photographs, and I want you to pause on each one and talk to the person you're with and work out whether you think they are in Atlanta in the United States or whether you think they're in London. And when you've decided, look at the pictures and then decide and tell the person why you think it's in one place or the other, and whether you think it is a human geographical feature or a natural geographical feature. So are these a physical feature, i.e. natural, or are they human? So pause at each one as we go through them and talk to the person you're with. So this place, now do you think that is in Georgia in the United States, or do you think it's in London in England? And what makes you think that? Is it a natural feature or has it been built by man? What makes you think that? Number two, what about this place? Ooh, it's a big modern building. So do you think that's a human feature or a physical feature? And where do you think it is? Do you think it's in England, in London, or in Atlanta in the United States? Pause and have a discussion. Now, what about this picture? Where's this? Where do you think it is? And what evidence do you have? What can you see that makes you think that? And is this river a natural feature or is it a man-made feature? What about this river? Now, where do you think that is? Do you think that's in England, near London, or do you think it's in or near Atlanta in Georgia in the United States? And why do you think that? And is that a man-made feature or is it a physical feature? Pause the video. Next one. What about this place with these big tall buildings? Do you think they're in Atlanta in Georgia, or are they in London and England? And what makes you think that? And obviously, I'll give you a clue here, they are not natural, so they're obviously man-made or human geographical features. What about this place? A huge wheel. Where do you think that is? And why do you think that? Maybe you've been on it. Oh, here's a one. There's a big clue if you read the title. Do you think this place is in Atlanta, or do you think it's in London? And is it a human or physical feature? What about this place? What about this place? Is this a human feature or is it a physical feature? And is it in London or is it in Atlanta in Georgia? And what makes you think that? What about this place, the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Site and Preservation District? Wow, there's a big clue in that big sign there. And what I said earlier about the fact that Martin Luther King Jr. came from Atlanta in Georgia. So what do you think this one is? What about these houses? Do these look like houses in London, in England? If not, why not? Or do you think they're houses in Atlanta, in Georgia, in America? If so, what makes you think that? What makes you think they might be houses from wherever you think they're from? What about these houses then? Where do you think these houses are? Do you think these houses are in Atlanta, in Georgia, or are they in London, in England? And what makes you think they are from wherever you think they're from? Now we've already seen one wheel. What about this wheel? Do you think it's the same wheel or do you think it's different? So where do you think this giant wheel might be? It's probably there for the same reason, so that tourists can see and have great views. So where do you think this one is? Do you think it's in London or do you think it's in Atlanta? Is it a natural feature or is it a man-made feature? What about this place? Oh, it's an American company, Warner Brothers. Is it in England, near London, or is it in Atlanta, Georgia? What about this river? Where's this river? Is it a natural feature or is it a man-made feature? And is it in the United States or is it in London? What about this river? Is it the same river? Is it different? If it's different, where do you think this one is and why? What clues tell you that it's somewhere else and what clues tell you where it might be? What about this place? Where's that? London or Atlanta? Where is it? Why do you think it's where it is? What about this place? That's interesting. Now, we've had an Olympic Games in London. They also had an Olympic Games in Atlanta in 1996. So do you think this is where the Olympics were held in London or where they were held in the United States? What makes you think that? What are the clues? Look at the picture and decide. Now, what about this place? Where's that, do you think? Do you think it's in London or do you think it's in Atlanta? Where is it and what's it all about? Now, we've looked at some geographical features and we've decided on, now we're going to actually look at some geographical data to compare the physical geography of London and Atlanta. And if we look at this, this is a map of the world and we know that London is about here and Atlanta is about here. Now, this is the equator, the center of the Earth, and we know that as you get to the equator, it gets hotter, and as you get to the poles, it gets colder. So what do you think the climate, the weather is going to be like in Georgia compared to London? And how do you think that's going to work? Now, what about this? This is a map of the United States, and we know that Atlanta is just there, right near this huge mountain range, and quite a long way from the sea. So if you look up there, it's kind of in the, so it's kind of in that kind of area in terms of height. Now, London is right down here in this green bit, so that's really low. Now, we know if you get higher in the mountains, it gets colder, and as you get nearer the sea, generally, it gets warmer. So how do you think that's going to affect the weather of London and Atlanta? Now, let's look at this. Both of them seem to be on rivers. Why do you think that would be? Why would you put your town or city or place you live, why would it be established along a river? Talk to the person you're with and work out why you think you'd build a town near a river. Now, We've looked at why the places are where they are. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you next term when we'll go through some more videos if we're not back at work, back at school, face to face. Have a great week, have a great half term, and I'll see you at some point. Bye.